the Coyote Twin, Vermilion's downtown theater. Providing entertainment Thursdays through Sundays.
Tonight, how students observed an Indigenous holiday.
And how USD selects honor students for overseas trips.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
It's now 5 o'clock. I'm Michael Stake.
And I'm Jody and Tyson. Thanks for being with us tonight. Monday was Indigenous Peoples Day, and South Dakota is just one of several other states that observe the holiday. That's
right, and Coyote News' Emily Van Cleve spoke with one student involved with USD's Native American Cultural Center to learn more.
Indigenous Peoples Day is a holiday to recognize Indigenous American peoples' cultures and histories. There are many resources at USD that can help students learn what the day represents and more about Native cultures.
This holiday enables us to recognize our unique and rich history that we've endured throughout the many generations. Additionally, it provides us to educate non-Native American people about our culture and make them realize that we're still here, our communities come together as one, and that we are relevant and valid in the world. It allows my people to be recognized since our representation is lacking. Our culture only represents about 3% of the total U.S. population, so this enables us to have a greater impact in the world and be celebrated with honor.
Parisian is a member of the Living Learning Communities on campus, where she is able to network with other Native American students and learn about her culture's history and traditions through workshops at the NACC.
Native Student Services offer many opportunities for Native American students to feel welcome at home at USD. They have a study area for people to focus and study. They provide a kitchen that allows people to cook on their own when they don't have an option to a kitchen. Additionally, we have people that support one another, whether it's with homework, with scholarship opportunities, and we can have a family away from home.
For Coyote News, I'm Emily Van Cleve.
The NACC encourages students to learn about Native American cultures and participate in workshops that showcase traditions.
Vermilion has already seen its first freeze warning this season, but facilities management has not turned off campus cooling systems. USD says once the central boiler is turned on, there's no option to go back to cooling. For this reason, management typically waits for more consistent temperatures.
The USD Honors Program takes students on faculty-led trips around the world. Program Director Melissa Berninger says they're currently planning a trip to London for its students in 2024. Attendees will receive 3 credits for going. However, not everyone who applies will be selected to go.
For the London trip, I think we had 45 applicants for about 20 spots. So we just looked at the juniors and seniors. We're hoping that the international trip is something that we'll do every other year. So first and second year students would be able to go when they're juniors and seniors.
In previous years, honors students have traveled to Memphis, Tennessee to learn about educational equity. COVID-19 has paused trips since 2020, so Berninger says she's excited for the comeback of these experiences.
The Israeli Prime Minister joined with opposition leaders to form a wartime cabinet today. The coalition will oversee the fight to avenge a weekend attack by Hamas militants. The initial attack left hundreds dead and an estimated 150 people taken hostage from Israel. South Dakota political leaders are showing their support for those affected. Governor Kristi Noem says she stands with the nation's ally and released a full statement offering her prayers and hope. Representative Dusty Johnson also stands with Israel, calling the attacks wholly unconscionable. The U.S. State Department designated Hamas as a terrorist group back in 1997. The war's already claimed at least 2,300 lives on both sides.
Still to come, how the Wellness Center's newest addition is affecting one Coyote athletics team. You're watching Coyote News.
In a world where embracing your identity is a privilege not usually given to the members of the LGBTQIA+ community,
the University of South Dakota Spectrum provides community and education for young queer scholars.
Sexuality and identity are defined on spectrums.
And having a community of open-minded, inclusive peers provides safety. Spectrum is one reason all Coyotes can call the University of South Dakota their home.
This is Coyote News.
USD Democrats and Republicans debated everything from international affairs to grassroots campaigns last week. The Dakota Days tradition allowed participants to offer their opinions on a wide variety of issues. Students filled the audience in Farber Hall to watch the discussion unfold. The Political Science League hosted the annual event. The league welcomes all students to join, no matter their major or experience with politics.
Custer State Park held its 58th annual Buffalo Roundup recently as part of an effort to maintain the health of the species. South Dakota cowboys and cowgirls rounded up over 1,500 bison. The park hosts one of the nation's few roundups that check the health of bison and vaccinate calves. Ecologists say the area's grasslands can sustain around 1,000 bison within the next year.
The USD Swim and Dive team will soon have a new pool to call home.
Coyote News' Sean Hermans spoke with the team about moving from the Dome to a new home.
The Dakota Dome swimming pool has been the home facility for USD Swimming and Diving team since 1979. But the team has outgrown the pool that has only 6 swimming lanes and not enough diving boards. The construction of a new swimming pool will change that.
We'll go from 6 lanes a day of availability for practice to 18 lanes, which will be a much needed room for us to kind of spread out and really be able to do some different training. We'll be able to train swimming and diving at the same time. And then we've got the spectator seating. So we've got seats for 500 people in the new pool. So we can host some meets with multiple teams and get some crowds here to support our program.
The length of the new swimming pool will go from 25 meters to 25 yards, which is the regulation length for competitions. Student athletes look forward to these new changes.
I'm really excited. It's been talked about for a really long time, and it's a great recruiting opportunity, but I think it's going to be really great. Having good air system, ventilation, and a 25-yard pool with some space for everyone.
The new swimming pool will be located at the Wellness Center, and its construction is in full swing. The pool is set to open late August or early September of next year. Reporting for Coyote News, I'm Sean Hermans.
Coach Mahold says the increased space will be a game changer for the program. USD's law school is installing 9 flags representing Native American tribes across South Dakota. Law student Miranda Herman initiated the process last year and says she hopes to strengthen the bridge between her tribe and the school. The South Dakota Tribal Law and Order Committee agreed this would be a meaningful gesture to the university. The dedication will happen Monday afternoon at 2 in the Knutson School of Law courtroom. With spring semester fast approaching, students should be meeting with their advisors to enroll in spring classes. Coyote News' Marissa Bronkhorst is live in the muck with Steve Ward to find out what that process looks like. Marissa?
Thanks, Jody Ann. It's midterm week here for students, and it's also advising season. So thanks for joining me today, Steve. What is the key to a successful advising meeting? How can students prepare?
Well, I think preparation probably is the reason for success in an advising meeting. I try and encourage students to do a couple of things. One, go to the catalog, which is catalog.usd.edu, and find your academic program and look at the major requirements, look at your minor requirements, and get a sense of what those are so you kind of can see what possibilities for classes and requirements for classes. And then refer to DegreeWorks, of course, and everyone has a DegreeWorks page that shows what you've taken, what you have left to do, and it's all laid out. So it's very convenient to allow people to prepare.
Why is it important to get to know your advisor, and can you kind of talk about the importance of that?
Yeah. So your academic advisor, whether it's a professional advisor or a faculty advisor, the better relationship you have with that person, the more they're going to be able to tailor classes for you to make sure that you're reaching your goals in a timely fashion. And that sort of comfort that you can develop is going to allow you to be honest with your advisor about what your needs are and what your feelings are about the classes so that you can be placed in things that are going to make you happy as a student.
Besides these advising meetings and just going to our classes every day as students, what other things can we do to help influence our, maybe what we want to take for classes, or things that help guide what we want to do while we're in college?
Well, I think talking to as many people, parents, friends, your parents, obviously your other faculty members besides your advisor, about what your goals are and what your interests are, is going to help you kind of bounce ideas off of other people. And as I was growing older in my life and in college, I found that the conversations I had with adults were invaluable to me, kind of learning what options there were for me as I went through school. And then once you have those conversations, then kind of sharing what your insights are with your academic advisor then can lead to building of a schedule that's going to allow you to finish school on time, take the classes that are going to help you reach those goals.
Are there any important deadlines or dates that students should know about for advising right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So students can register for spring classes anytime they want, as long as they get their advising hold taken off. Students also have dates that the registrar has given them that they can start registering for summer and fall classes, which begin October 23rd and run through November. So depending on how many credits you have, you can start registering in October and November for those later semesters. The other thing I want to remind students is that November 3rd is the withdrawal date. So if you're feeling like you're not doing well in a course and want to withdraw from it instead of fail it, then you have until November 3rd to do that.
Thanks again for joining me today, Steve.
My pleasure. Thank you, Marissa.
Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Marissa Brunkhorst.
Thanks, Marissa. If you have questions about your schedule, reach out to your academic advisor on Coyote Connections.
More than 140 tickets were sold for last night's biannual drag show. The night featured performances from USD alumni and current students, among others. Spectrum has hosted a drag show every semester since 1991, and this was their first show since the South Dakota Board of Regents passed the Minors on Campus policy. Attendants had to be 18 and show their ID to enter. Spectrum's next event will be a movie night at the Coyote Twin on October 23rd. Coming up, the football team's prepping for its 5th win in a row.
And the women's tennis teams headed to regionals.
is Coyote News.
The football team wrapped up Dakota Days with a victory against Murray State. I'm Spencer Bewley.
And I'm Carly Phillips. USD football is taking a 4-game win streak into their home matchup against Youngstown State this Saturday. Against Murray State, the Coyotes took the early lead with a touchdown from junior tight end J.J. Galbraith. In the second, redshirt freshman Charles Peer Jr. added on another touchdown for USD. Murray State finally got on the board with a touchdown in the second quarter, but the Coyotes responded with a 25-yard touchdown run by Travis Tice. Heading into the third, the Coyotes were still up by 14 points. They secured the victory by scoring 2 more touchdowns and a field goal in the last quarter. The Coyotes take this one 38-7. Saturday's game against Youngstown kicks off at 1.
Coyote volleyball returns to the SCSC tomorrow night to take on St. Thomas. USD comes in with a 3-2 Summit League record, while St. Thomas has yet to get their first conference win. The Coyotes most recently picked up back-to-back road wins against North Dakota and North Dakota State, winning both in 5 sets. Tomorrow's game starts at 7.
The women's soccer team fell to first-ranked Denver this past weekend. The Pioneers took a quick 2-0 lead, scoring twice in the first 19 minutes. The lone goal for the Coyotes was from freshman forward Kyla Brown. Her first career goal came off an assist from sophomore forward Campbell Zimmers. Denver would score again in the second half to win 3-1. The women play their final home game against North Dakota State on Sunday at 1. Coyote News' Sydney Collins live in the muck with a GoYods play-by-play announcer to tell us what to expect from Coyote athletics in the coming week. Sydney?
Thanks, Carly. I'm here with Tavin Carncross from GoYods. So Summit League preseason basketball rankings just came out yesterday. What do you think of the rankings for USD?
Well, I think the men's team sitting in the 6th spot is a little questionable, but I think there's a lot of hard competition this year in the men's side, especially a lot of big hitters. You saw last year Grant Nelson and Zeke Mayo and all those, Max A-Smiths. A lot of those guys are gone now. Zeke Mayo's still at STSU, but there's a lot of teams on top of the Summit League that have really, really big key competitors. But I think South Dakota is going to shake that up a little bit. I think 6th is a little bit low. I would say maybe 4th. With like I said, the harder competition. But for the men's side, at least 4th. As for the women's side, 3rd is about where I would expect it. SDSU is still very on top of the Summit League, but they've got a couple of key injuries this year that just happened about a week ago, so we're not really sure how long they're going to be out. But I think 3rd is about right where it should be. And I mean, Grace Larkin's first team, that's a no-brainer. Carly Duffney really showed out last year. So I think 2nd team for her is also good as well.
And how did you get started with GoYods?
Well, I gotta think now. I think sophomore year, my roommate got a job with Jaron Duffy, and he was going to be working camera and things like that. And then he got to call some games and things like that. And I was like, well, that's what I want to do. So I just kind of applied, and I mean, it's just kind of snowballed from there. Not in a bad way, snowballed, but in a good way.
What does the preparation process look like for calling games?
Well, I think people think it's a lot harder than it is. But for me, if we're just looking at, let's say, volleyball that I'm doing tonight, I look at both teams' kind of last games, and then I look at their rosters, get their stats, things like that. And then obviously you kind of get some other notes here and there, but that's kind of really about it. There's not a whole lot preparation, but it's a lot of like getting to know people, name recognition, figuring out who plays where and things like that.
Then what's your favorite sport to call for games?
If we're talking about just the 3 sports I call for GoYods, I've only gotten to call 2 so far, but it's got to be volleyball, hands down. If we're talking about KOR type of stuff, I mean, everybody says I'm really good at football, but I think I still kind of keep my love with volleyball and the basketball side too.
Tavin, thank you so much for being here today.
Yep, thank you.
Live in the muck for Coyote Sports, I'm Sydney Colin.
Thanks, Sydney. Catch Carncross on GoYods.com for tomorrow night's volleyball game.
2 women have yet to be beaten through the fall tennis season. This week, I spoke with the duo of Anna Medvedeva and Grace Chaddock. growing up almost 5,000 miles apart hasn't stopped these two from becoming a so far unstoppable team. Medvedeva, a sophomore, came to South Dakota from Lviv, Ukraine, while Chadek, a junior, grew up in Plainfield, Illinois. Both are in their second year at USD, however, as Chadek transferred in from the University of Central Oklahoma after her freshman year.
I just kind of entered the transfer portal and Brett was like, hey, we have spots, and I really liked how he was as a coach and his personality, so I just came over. I had no clue who was going to be here, but I like it now. So.
Medvedeva said she knew a lot of tennis players from Ukraine that had come to the U.S., but it was still a life-changing decision.
I've been here last year, so this year has been easier. I knew what to do, but everything is new, it's new culture, so I had to adjust.
The duo was 12-0 in the fall season, despite not playing together at all last year.
Brett just said,
you go together.
We're just going to throw you all together and see what happens, and somehow it just works out.
The ITA regionals are set, and the women will be traveling to Lawrence, Kansas to compete this weekend. It will be Medvedeva's first appearance at regionals, but Chadek competed in Stillwater last year and went 3-1 in singles and 2-2 in doubles. Both say they've got one cue heading into the tournament.
Be locked in. Have to be locked in before every match and not a slow start probably.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, but usually we play pretty well together, so it doesn't affect who we play at all. It doesn't matter who they are, what team they're from. We just play.
The two say regardless of what happens this weekend, their confidence going into the spring is through the roof. The Coyote swim and dive teams are heading back to Minnesota this weekend. This comes after the women's team opened their season with a win over Minnesota State. The Coyotes defeated the Mavericks 192-108. They won 14 of the 16 events, including all 12 individual swimming events. Sophomore Taylor Burr contributed 4 wins for the Coyotes. She raced a time of 1 minute 6 seconds in the 100 breast and 2 minutes 23 seconds in the 200 breast. The women will join the men in their season debut on Friday at the Minnesota Tri-Duels in Minneapolis.
For this week's sports poll, we asked on X, formerly known as Twitter, what sports team people would join at USD.
See these results.
I'm pretty interested to see what people had to say about this. It looks like we have a future punter on the football team.
We got softball. Wonder who that was. Esports. Pretty common one, I feel like.
And someone wants to play for the basketball team. That's a solid choice,
Coach
too.
Pete. Yep. I don't know about you, Carly, but I am a huge fan of the USD track team, and I think if I had to join a sport, it would be track and field.
You know, I would have to agree with you on that, Spencer. There's just something about, especially the distance team, that just really strikes me.
Yeah. No bias, though, for sure.
Of course not.
Anyways, yeah. Follow our social media for more polls. That's it for Coyote Sports.
When we come back, we ask students what fashion trends they'd never wear. Stay with us.
Hey, do you want to answer a quick question for Coyote News?
Huh? What's the question?
It's about roommates. It'll only take a second.
I don't know.
Come on. All you have to do is talk to me. What's the weirdest thing that you found your roommate doing?
One time I came home from class and she was clipping her toenails on my bed. That was weird and gross.
Hey, look. It's you.
That was weird and gross.
No way.
This is Coyote News.
Michael, I can't help but notice you have really great style.
Thank you, Jody Ann, but I had to learn the hard way that there's some things even I can't pull off. And in this week's Out and About, we asked students what fashion trends they'd never wear.
Here's what they had to say.
Backwards hats that just sit on the top of their head.
I hate neon colors. It feels like it burns my eyes.
Probably when people wear the beanie at the utmost top part of their head and it doesn't cover their hair.
Those like little tennis skirts that are longer in the back.
Probably dress.
Flared leggings.
Probably like bell-bottom jeans.
Flared jeans.
For me personally, like Rick Owens.
Low-rise jeans, I think they look fine, they just don't fit me.
I don't wear a lot of jeans, so I probably wouldn't wear that.
Probably jorts.
I would probably never wear like a suit or something.
Anything neon.
Ooh, this is hard.
I don't like the baggy stuff. I don't know.
Socks and sandals.
The really, really short skirts, could not get away with that.
For me, Michael, it's dress and sneakers.
Well, then I'm glad no one can see what I'm wearing right now underneath. And I would have to say probably socks with sandals. Like, I love the song, but I see it and I get so confused. Like, pick a side.
In Vermilion, Walmart and Hy-Vee are the main options for grocery shopping. To settle the debate of which one is better, we ask followers what their go-to grocery store is. What do you think, Michael?
I think the obvious answer is Walmart, and this is not a sponsorship, but looking at it, even with the student discount and an employee discount, Walmart just has better deals.
That's true.
And let's see what the polls say. Okay, we have smart pollers. I like it.
Yes.
And whoever the 5% said other, I would love to know what other grocery stores you're going to in Vermilion. Follow our Twitter page at USD Coyote News to take part in our weekly polls. Sometimes food looks too good to eat, but at Felt's Bagel in New York City, it is. Artist Lucy Sparrow creates bagels made out of felt. She sews these delicious looking creations together in a pop-up shop that will run through the end of October. Custom bagels designs are $250, but pre-made items start as low as $10. If I was spending $250 on a fake bagel, I'm going to eat it. I'm just going to say that right there.
I don't even know if I'd find myself in that situation in the first place. But
And that's all for Coyote News.
Pick up the Valance issue to see what the Vermilion Police Department was up to this D-Days weekend.
And listen to 91.1 for news updates throughout the week and for your coverage of USD sports.
Don't forget to follow our social media pages for daily updates and the weekly poll. Have a great night.